Hello, everyone. My name is Pauline from Quest, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Reconnect Dive Deep session. I have a few reminders before we get started. Attendees will remain muted throughout the session. However, if you'd like to be unmuted to ask a question, use the raise hand feature. A Quest staff member will give you permission to speak at that time. Attendees can also type their questions into the Q&A module in your Zoom toolbar. We will address any questions at the end of the session. At this time, I'll turn things over to our speakers, Sanjay and Randy. Thank you.
Thanks, Pauline. Well, I see folks are joining. Attendee list is going up. So thank you for, I think this might be the last session of the day joining us. About halfway through. We've got 2 days down and 2 to go. This personally is my third presentation of the day. And so I'm I'm going to limit my talking on this one to just a few intro slides, and then I'm going to let Sanjay, and he's actually in the room with Gorish there in the office, and they'll take the presentation. In fact, we're seeing Sanjay's screen right now, so we don't have to make a switch between presenters midway. Our plan is to introduce you to SpearMC, introduce you to the concept of the Match Exception Collaboration Center, and then give you a demo of that product. So I'm going to, while I won't be speaking much, I am going to monitor the question and answer session of the Zoom chat here. So I have on my second screen, I've got the question and answer screen up. I also have the chat screen up. So depending on which option you choose, I'll monitor those. And when I see an opportunity, I'll interrupt Sanjay and Gorish with the questions. So don't hold back, okay? We definitely want this to be an interactive session. Would appreciate that very much. Okay, that said, looks like the folks joining is slowing down. So that's me, Randy Johnson. Again, my third presentation. I have one more tomorrow. I'm presenting with Sanjay, and we're going to be talking about month-end close, doing that in PeopleSoft with the activity guide as our checklist. Today, we're talking about a new feature called Match Exception Collaboration Center. This presentation will go to everyone. That is my email. That's my phone. You can reach out to me and get me on either way. And I don't have a picture of Sanjay or Gorish on the next slide, so I apologize to you guys for that. So next, these are all the presentations. Next slide. That SpearMC is going to be presenting either today, tomorrow, or Thursday. As you can see, we have a large number of them. We're, maybe if I'm looking at the list halfway through. We're competing actually with with my colleague Jessica Mann in her presentation right now. Tomorrow, we're going to kick it off. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. Our presentation between Sanjay and myself is again at 4:45 tomorrow, and that's where we're going to walk through using Activity Guide as a month-end checklist. And then if you miss that, there's an opportunity to see just the demo portion of it on Thursday. Anyway, if you're interested in any of our presentations, take a look. We've had a lot of opportunity to build content, and I think this conference is better for all of the presentations that are going on. All right, thank you. Next. One of the things that we're wanting everyone to realize, in fact, we just had a presentation, a demo on our All Access Learning Pass, is SpearMC got our start as trainers. And it's still a core function that we provide is training on the PeopleSoft products. Our trainers, however, are all implementers, right? So we're not just professional trainers. We actually do full implementation, and we know about that, and we turn out and we provide those training courses. We have a whole bunch of new courses that we've built out over the next 3 months. You can take a snap with that QR code, or when you have this presentation sent to you, or it'll be posted, you can download it, click the website. You can simply go to www.spheremc.com and go to the training calendar. It's also in the appendix at the very end of this presentation. So we're pretty happy with the number of courses that we built out, particularly public sector, particularly campus solutions. If you're looking for that, we feel that was an underserved area. So lots and lots to choose from. We've added, we put back a training for system administrators, 4-day training. That's coming in January, and we're spreading it out over 2 weeks, so you don't have to take 4 consecutive days. We had not offered that for the last several years and started to see the demand spike back up. And so that's out there. We're excited to reintroduce that in the latest versions of tools. So anyway, lots and lots of training opportunity. We are an authorized Oracle education partner. Highly recommend you check us out for the new training curriculum that we've got out there. All right, thank you. Next slide is one of my favorites. So I don't know how to boil this down, except to say, if you haven't been in one of our presentations, then you need to learn one thing, and that is that SphereMC equals PeopleSoft. We are still all in on the PeopleSoft product line, and everything we do still revolves around the PeopleSoft product. Even if we're talking about cloud solutions like Oracle Guided Learning. Oracle Guided Learning, by the way, if you do get a chance to see one of Cameron's presentations on Oracle Guided Learning, I highly recommend you take advantage of it. It is a superior solution replacing User Productivity Kit. You'll love it. I absolutely, it's our #1 requested demo. We are the reseller of Oracle Guided Learning for PeopleSoft, and that would include buying our pre-built content, which is a huge time saver. Anyway, so that's a SaaS product, Oracle Guided Learning, but it's our focus because we're focusing on Oracle Guided Learning for PeopleSoft. So you could almost take every word on this slide and add the words for PeopleSoft at the end, and that is why we do what we do. We are having this very presentation. You look at the emerging technologies, the lower center there. Emerging technologies, we love the fact that Oracle continues to invest, and not just lightly, but heavily invest in new features, functions, new technologies. And one of those features that we want to call to everyone's attention is the Match Exception Collaboration Center, MECC, it's sometimes referred to. And that MECC, we've been waiting for it, because when we sit down and we talk to our customers and we want to just talk about a roadmap, what do you want to do? And what are your biggest pain points? When we bring in the accounts payable, the receiving, and the purchasing organizations, and if there's another arm that's just dealing with supplier relationship management, the #1 topic is match exceptions and resolving, fixing match exceptions. And so we finally have this emerging tool, this technology that Oracle is delivering, that is a functioning, real world, absolutely gotta have it solution that you already own. All you have to do is get current, and we can talk about how deploying that is going to solve not all of your match exception pain points, but it's certainly going to enable you to track them, to assign them, to monitor them, and work them in a much more efficient way than however it is that you're doing it with the cobbled together queries and Excel spreadsheets and what other technologies that you're using, email, reminders, whatever it may be. I highly recommend you take a look at this tool. We are happy to do private demos, walk through the setups and the pitfalls. Take a look. The question, Ted is asking, what version is Match Exception Collaboration Center delivered in, which PUM image? And I believe it first came out in 40. Is that right, Sanjay? Do you
I
know?
think so too. I think 40. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember, but I think it came out in
it,
40.
it's been around, but I can tell you that there have been additional patches, mostly for performance related issues, that have come out in almost every image since it first came out. And so you do need to get rather current, and you you would likely not be able to go live with just image 40, the version of MECC there. You're going to need to look at the performance improvements that have been inserted in subsequent images as well. Okay. Thanks for the question, Ted. Glad I glanced down there.
So, Randy, if you don't mind, I'll just expand on that a little before you continue. Uh,
Sure.
I think most of the challenges that have come across, and we'll talk about it some more later, has been performance for high volume customers. I just want to
Yeah.
qualify that. And that's where there's been a lot of patches that have come out on improving the performance. So I'm going
Yes.
to give it back to you. I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
I
No.
qualify with the high volume piece.
It's a great point, and it's, I don't, funny's not the right term. It is. It just so happens that the customers that need this the most are going to be the ones that have the highest volume of match exceptions, right? And so and then what inevitably happens is, during the early parts of testing, we test with users that get assigned the most rules that are violated and need attention. And so it's those users that have the largest number of assignments, and it just it exacerbates the performance issue, at least in perception, because it's those test users that we're using that have too many exceptions to track. So Oracle's been working diligently on fixing that with a number of approaches, including pre-filtering on date ranges, so that the pages can open up. You can start to refilter. You can start to address some of those. Anyway, I highly recommend that when you look at this, you do it mindfully and with a properly sized environment. The other issue we've seen with customers that have tried this is they're in non-production environments that are undersized already, and it looks like the performance issues are worse in those environments than they really are, and so you get a bad first impression. So anyway, I don't mean to jump straight to lessons learned. What I wanted to do here is say we're all in on PeopleSoft at Spear MC, and we are thrilled that there are features like the Match Exception Collaboration Center that are addressing these issues that we know are problems with almost every customer that's out there that has purchasing and AP and receiving, and maybe integrations to other systems like GHX, right? And we are thrilled to be a part of getting this word out to our customers and anyone who is interested in getting this technology up and running. So anyway, all PeopleSoft all the time. I've already gone beyond my time frame, so let's see what's next. I don't think I have anything. Oh, I do have one more. Go ahead. Yeah, Gartner recognized for our PeopleSoft expertise, particularly PeopleSoft moving to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. It's 3 years running now that we've been recognized for Gartner for our expertise there. If you're worried about Spear MC certifications, don't be. We're SOC 2 Type 2 certified. We go through our audits every year. Sanjay and Gorish both know they're a part of that, and so we've been at it for a long time, and we intend to continue as long as Oracle continues to support this product. So, all right, definitely keep those questions coming. I'm going to stop yapping, and I'm going to let Gorish and Sanjay take over from this point on. I'm not going to promise I won't jump in from time to time, but I'm going to let them do most of the talking, and I'm going to monitor the questions. Put them in chat, put them in the question and answers, And I'll be sure when the time is right to get those questions asked and have our experts on the line give you those answers. All right, Sanjay, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Randy. And I'll guarantee one thing to everyone, that Randy is going to speak. I give it about 4 minutes from now, okay?
It
That's
it's
a
hard.
time challenge. So,
Somebody set a timer.
okay, so starting with the match exception collaboration center, we'll kind of split this into two pieces. There's only a couple of slides that I have that just talk about the benefits, and then we'll go into the system and show you from a system perspective, what does the match exception center bring to the table. Uh, I'm not trying to make it all slide based and kind of do a more of a system based presentation. So as the name denotes, right, the Exception Collaboration Center, the biggest challenge that every organization faces is collaboration between the procurement team and the payable, I mean, between purchasing, payables, receiving, and fixing those exceptions out there, right? So as the name denotes, and that's the part that we'll be focusing on the most, is how it makes the whole thing seamless between the three organizations, or I don't know, there can be many organizations between different clients. And then you know, in my past life, I worked with some outsourcing organizations where they're servicing many clients, where this collaboration between all the different stakeholders kind of is the biggest part of the success. The other part of it, which is most common question that you always hear on a PeopleSoft implementation, right? Is there a role or user-based access? So definitely, and as you know, most of the things that PeopleSoft has been releasing over the years, there's been more and more of role and user-based access defined, where you can define who gets access to what, whether there's things assigned to groups or individuals. So that's another big thing that helps in ensuring security and efficiency. The third thing, again, you know, as it's every financial organization, and I'll again show most of this stuff also online, there is a complete audit trail, whereas pretty much every step in the process is audited, and you can see it in the audit section for the match exception page that I'll show you. Uh, uh, Again, there is detailed transaction visibility. You can have, and there is a very powerful filtering mechanism. Again, there's a talking point over here, but again, I'm going to show it to you across the pages, where you can see the multiple filters that PeopleSoft allows you to look at as many or as little transactions as you want to. I'm also logged in as two different users on two browsers. So there will be a little of screen shuffling I'll be doing between two browsers to show you what happens when one administrator is going in versus a user is actually just working on limited set of data on the match exceptions. So again, the theme for everything is good visibility of data, strong filtering, strong collaboration, lot of communication, notifications, workflows that is allowed as part of the system uh, to help clients operate more successfully. So this is the only one slide that has a main talking point, and then we're going into an online demo. The rest of the slides I'll just piggyback on at different times, where I've just taken some of the screenshots and put them out here on the slides so that there is something to take home. Having said this, and I see that there's no questions so far, so I'm going to jump into the screen, and of course I've been logged out, as should have been expected.
No new questions yet, Sanjay, while you log back in.
So I had Gorish log in because he's a super administrator on this, and he's got the match exception administrator role. So he pretty much gets to see everything going on in the application. So I'm going to, I mean, there's multiple forms of navigation. I'm just going to use the dashboards right now. Yeah, obviously. We'll use the match exception. So when you first come in, again, as you saw on the first slide, this is showing nothing right now because of filter by default. And this is one of the performance improvements that was done as patches across that we noticed as we work with clients is earlier this from date and to date was wide open. So what this would lead to is for customers that when they were entering when they would go in, it would kind of try to bring in everything. It would try to filter across a complete data set, and which would kind of make it difficult, everything that was there in the match exception processes, right? And that would lead to huge volume and the screen being slow. I'm putting in very simple criteria over here right now. Again, like I said, I'm logged in as Goricious administrator over here. And I'm just going to run across everything. There's about 1,500 rows out here. So, and again, please remember this is a demo environment, like what Randy was referring to as the lower environment. So there is, yeah, like 2 seconds in today's world is a long time, right? But again, it's a demo environment with limited resources. So what you see over here is the complete list of exceptions. Now you will see some of them have been assigned, right? And what you can also see is a complete data set of your voucher details versus your purchasing details and your receiving details. I'm just going to click on show all so that you can see all the columns. I mean, all of us are pretty PeopleSoft experienced and PeopleSoft savvy to know what these different tabs mean in PeopleSoft, and show all kind of shows all the attributes across the complete data set. One of the biggest things, like again, with one of the customers that we were working with, was there can be the small difference in prices, and it's visible right out here. So anyone going in can look at these different pieces of information. I'm just showing a price difference over here, 15.1 versus 15.0. That itself can, is leading to a final amount difference. So I'm hoping this is making sense, and I'm hoping I'm keeping the right pace. Randy, please let me know if I'm going too fast.
I think it's fine.
And again, over here, what I'm going to do is like some of the things I talked in the previous slide on the communication aspect, right? I'm just going to show that to you first. I'm going to show you this resolved one from an audit trail perspective, right? So on this audit trail, if you see, there is every step documented starting from, the exception was created, changed, who it was assigned to, right? And who worked on it. So of course I have the date timestamp marked from beginning to end. And as people have put in notes or stuff that they have done on this match exception, is documented over here. Now the status of this is currently marked as resolved, so it should not be here. And of course, one of the things that I'm going to show you is, again, I will be going back to the filtering criteria and showing you the information how you can eliminate some of these rows that are already resolved. And this is the administrator's view of the whole thing. So you have
Sanjay, got a question.
Yes.
So you were right. I'll interrupt. Here's a question. Is there a way to click on a rule or rule description that provides an explanation of what is needed to fix the exception?
So let me go in over there, Randy, in a second. Okay. But
Sure.
what I'm also going to show over here is now, because this is a resolved one, right? But suppose if this one, there was some work to be done, and you could, at this point of time, Again, it depends on the access, right? Now, again, I have a VP1 equivalent access, so I do have access to everything. But if an action was needed to be taken where they had to go in and update the PO or update a receipt or just go to any of the places or go to a voucher, they can navigate from here. So you don't have to make notes on which voucher or PO, etc., that you have to work on. You can just navigate from here and update that respective transaction. So again, I'm not going to go into any of those transactions right now, but I'm just kind of presenting the aspect that the art of the possible, right, as I said. So I'm going to, okay, this is going back. Randy, I'm going to answer your question in a minute, right? So I'm going to limit the amount of data that I'm seeing right now. So for example, I'm just going to take a few status. This is the filtering criteria over here, right? So I'm going to just take the AP business unit of year 001, and I'm going to keep only the one where the match status is open, and run this data for a more limited set of data. So now to your point, right, Randy, actually, if you look at the match rules, and I think this is what you're asking, okay? So if I didn't understand your question, I apologize, but in this case, you have an inspection required but not complete because the match rule is already there. And the whatever is there in the matching rule description, that what, in PeopleSoft, when you set up the match rules, you can set up matching descriptions along with that. That is what has been is visible. And I assume this is what you were asking, Randy. Please let me know if I didn't answer your question.
I feel it came anonymously, so I'm assuming that you're getting it right. The description explains what to do to address it.
So now in this case, right, if I wanted to go and update the receipt, I can go and do that from here. But what I'm going to focus on is also show you some of the other aspects of it. As to from here, the administrator can assign it to the concerned person that is possible, that is, and this shows only the people to whom this particular type or this particular match rule exception can be assigned to. Where that's the configuration which I'll show you later. Okay. So in this case, just let's assign it to Kelvin Roth, right? And if I put in a resolution code, because I'm just doing a little fast forward, it will actually kind of mark this as resolved. But just for everyone's benefit, again, this is another configurable thing which you can put in the different types of resolutions that were applied. Okay. And on this particular exception, so to be able to close it. So suppose if I just do an overridden by user in this case. Now this particular type of resolution code does require you to document why did you do this, or what, put in a little more details which you can enter out here. Okay. So having said this, I'm going to mark this done. Does not let me go out. So I'm going to just enter a quest demo over here. It will mark it as resolved. Okay. But it's not yet saved. So I'm going to show some more things to everyone out here as we go. And also I'm sure everybody is noticing the audit trail that goes with this, right? So the other thing is, again, you can have more comments entered over here. Okay. If you have any attachments that go along with it to be for proof, or some updated documents that you want to apply, that you can apply to the attachments here. And the other thing that I'm going to talk about over here, in this case, I'd assign this to only one person, but there's also a possibility that you can assign a match exception to a group of people if there is a certain group that works on certain types of issues. right? Or you could just add an ad hoc user and assign it to them.
Hey, Sanjay, in a similar, not this, but a similar question just popped up. And the situation is this: on a single voucher, they may have more than one rule that has an exception. Okay, it might be rule 100, rule 200, multiple exceptions on the same voucher. And the question is, if we have multiple exceptions, is there a way to assign the entire voucher? In other words, all rules that are an exception for that voucher to a single person rather than each exception by itself.
So the thing is, I understand what you're saying, and when this data comes up, so what I'm going to do is, in this case, actually, I'm going to try and see. Actually, I didn't make a note of that voucher number, but I think I have another one. And this one has multiple. This one has multiple exceptions. Okay. So I'm just trying to show it by illustration. So you can, so again, there's multiple rules out here. So when you assign this, actually you can assign only one rule at a time, and resolve for it. Because again, if it depends, and I'm not, just to be upfront, sometimes I also put in a disclaimer, I have not solved for this particular scenario before, but I just want to be honest, right? I don't want to give you wrong information.
Sure.
But to my knowledge, you have to just take one rule at a time and resolve it. And I know there's some very experienced people like Pratima on the call who may want to add value later. But in case if
So I am told that the assignment at the voucher level is on the roadmap, which is good news for everyone.
okay, so I didn't
Now,
lie.
we're not Oracle, so I don't have to do the statement at the beginning talking about talking about promises for future. There's no dates. It's on the roadmap. If it's out there, I suggest that you reach out to Oracle and suggest that that's a top priority.
Yep. So I didn't lie. I feel better about that. So you can.
Although I will say, Sanjay, you did show how to filter by the voucher, so there was a way to at least find all of the rules that are in an exception, right? And while they today have to be assigned one by one, you can at least go through through all three and make the assignments. Probably not the answer you're looking for, but I think we should be satisfied right now. There's a way to filter, and in the future, there's going to be a way to assign at the voucher level.
So thank you for that, Randy, and that was an excellent question. So from here, basically, I'm going to take a little segue, and just because we were talking about security and different people having access, I mean, how that data information changes. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to log in as me. I'm actually, as we speak, I'm trying to log in a different browser. Into PeopleSoft, and obviously 1 second, people, I'm struggling. I'm just struggling with moving the window. So, okay. So having said that, sorry, this is not. What again I'm going to show is, now that I've logged in as me, you see, compared to the administrator, I'm seeing only 4 rules. I mean, 4 rules, and I don't know how many vouchers that is. There are actually 4 different vouchers that are relevant to me that have been assigned to me. In fact, if you also notice that voucher 203 is here, on that voucher 203, there's only one rule that is applicable to me. And because if you remember, and I do have that screen out here. So over here, on this particular voucher, there was actually 3 rules that were applicable, but there's only one of those that's applicable to me, and it's been assigned to me. Okay. So again, just trying to show you different aspects of how it works, how things become a little easier. So when I come and I'm seeing only data related to me, and I can open any of these vouchers and, any of these match exceptions, and work on the respective aspect of this voucher. Again, I want to highlight the part that you can navigate from here to any of these locations where you can go and update the required information related to this. So like in this case, there is a receipt missing, and I think you can go and add or update a receipt related to this. So having said this, the other part of it that I'm going to take a little switch and go into and talk about for a minute is the aspect related to, earlier I mentioned one of the configurations, and it's one of the key configurations, which is where I expect or I typically get most of the questions. So I'm going to just show this particular configuration. So let's say it's an AP group configuration. And what I'm trying to highlight over here is how those rules, like when I opened that particular match exception, it showed a certain set of users to whom I could assign that thing. So if you see for this particular rule, there is multiple things. First, I'll start with the rules. So these are the 4 rules that are applicable with this match exception group. Okay. From here, I'm going to go into filters, but actually I can even set up filters out here saying that which are the business units I want people to be assigned to, not just, or this group to be assigned to. So you can set this filters up by groups, by business units, by organizations. So you have the payables business units, you have the procurement business units, and the ship to locations, all this data out here that you can apply from a filter perspective. And now going into the group details part, where this is basically where we're talking about 2 different things. One is the roles that can be to whom this rule will, or this will get assigned to, or users both. If you even want, like say in the example, because this is a demo environment and there's a lot of people who are set up as administrator, I can also set up over here from this particular role, who are the users who should not be assigned to it. So even though I have 67 administrators, so again, even though I'm an administrator, I can't see everything. So for this particular group, this following people will be excluded from that list, that drop down that you saw earlier, for whom the ticket can be assigned to. I hope I'm making sense to everyone out here. So we talked about the users, the roles. We talked about an exclusion list if we want to. We talked about the group filters out here, where we can assign filters for this match exception group that we are setting up. There's a lot of other configurations. I'm just typically when we are doing the demo, there's a lot of questions that come up in people's mind as to what is the heart of, or how this thing is getting applied, or who's getting it, or how does that drop down work. And these are the rules that apply to it. So these are the different aspects that I kind of talked through, right? We again talked about the match exception center. And Randy, please let me know if I forgot to mention something, or I know.
Well, there was one more question, right? And that was, so let me just make sure I am following. I think I am. What you are showing here are how we can auto assign groups, individuals automatically get assigned when a match exception rule is triggered during the match exception process. Which makes sense, right? It could be assigned to one or more, first to work it, much like a work list. The question that just popped up was, could we automatically assign the match exception to the requester? And by requester, anonymous attendee, if you could clarify, are we talking about like e-procurement requester? Is that the requester you're asking? Can we assign it to the requester? I'll let you answer your way, Sanjay. My answer would be, it's not always the requester that needs to resolve match exceptions, but it certainly could be if, say, you were doing desktop receiving and that had not happened. These types of rules could be assigned directly to the individuals that are responsible for doing the task that is remaining. Sanjay, I'll let you elaborate on that, but yeah, there is the question, could we automatically assign the exception to the requester?
So I think Randy pretty much answered most of it. And what I'm going to also share over here, and again, most of the clients that we work with, all they want to be sure about is when the match exception engine runs, it highlights the exceptions and brings the data out here. And people go in and so again, I'm going to take in an open request over here, an open match exception issue. And what it does is what you saw on that configuration is the fact that the number of people that can be assigned to this match exception is there's a small filtered list of people to whom it can be assigned. So only those people show up on this list. So one second, what did I do? Okay. So here, or if I want to assign to a group, so over here, there is a lot of people from the group AP groups that can be done over here. So the way it works is you come in, the administrator comes in, and there can be multiple administrators. They can come in and they can do the assignments to the different groups based on the rules defined on that configuration. And there will be a notification that goes out to the respective people or people in that organization that will let them work on it. Actually, if you see on my home page over here on the notifications, I have this multiple notifications that require my attention on the payables exceptions. Okay. So having said that, I think I've pretty much covered most of the things. Again, like I said, there's a lot of configurations, there's a lot of other things that go into it, but this is kind of a preview, and I did want to show one key configuration.
Sanjay, what image are you showing right here? Is it 47?
47. Yeah.
Okay. From Ted Gibson, they did deliver auto assignment option in 48. So definitely if you're wanting to put MECC in, you're going to want to selectively adopt as much as you can all the way through 48 would be my recommendation. Thanks, Ted.
Yeah. Thank you, Ted. So actually, I'm going to open this up with questions because most of the topics that I planned to cover, I've already covered them.
I'll continue to monitor the questions. It looks like there are none yet. Nothing in the chat, nothing in the questions. Ask away, gang. There's 35 of you out there. So even if you want to know what the weather's like, which is, by the way, 80 degrees in Chicago today. Nobody cared. Is there anybody out there who joined this session who has tried to at least evaluate this tool already? Rob is asking, can we do a suggestion for future development? Go ahead. Let's see what let's see what you got.
You've got some key people over here from Oracle on the call.
Yeah, we've got them captive. So there has been an attempt. I won't call out names, not much success. In the next question, could you just indicate what issues you had? Are they performance related issues? I know that Oracle's delivered a lot of options, as we saw Sanjay with this filtering out and shrinking the number of items. AI, similar exceptions based on BU. Am I reading this right? What about AI? Yes, AI could auto assign based on those commonalities. I think that's definitely something that we should be taking into consideration. Almost everything that we're doing these days, right? Performance improvements do exist in PUM 48. I think I saw that on the earlier presentation yesterday from Oracle. Thanks again, Ted. And back to the AI. I'm curious the thought process here. AI, where you've got new exceptions, they're all common. How do we kind of aggregate them? I think that would be an excellent thought. Curious how someone might think about deploying a fix like that, or a feature like that.
So Rob, I don't know, and I'm struggling with the right portal name, but Oracle has this innovations board. I don't remember what it's called now, and Ted helped me out. But the thing is, if you put in your ideas, and if you get enough traction on those ideas, Oracle is doing a pretty good job of building those things. And also, of course, you can work through the partners and like us and other partners. I'm not trying to market us all the way, but to reach out to Oracle and get the work with your ideas.
I have another thought out here, which is, hey, do you have to reload the component each time to get the results to refresh? Matching processes run every half hour, twice an hour, and the users want to see their exceptions drop off. So how frequently? I think one of the options is, as you've resolved them, if your filter is, as we saw Sanjay do, only on open, you will see them drop off.
Yeah.
But any other thoughts there?
So they do keep dropping off even as you keep working on them, because in fact, in the other session that I had, I can show you the match exception that I was working on. One second,
Okay.
I'm going to bring the screen back up, but it drops off as the minute I finish working on it. The minute it's marked as resolved.
They should. Yeah, we don't need to refresh. We don't need to refresh the component every time, right? We should see them drop off as soon as we go back in, once they're resolved. Yeah. Looks like a particular attendee out there is having problems with security, right? To make the assignments and collaboration work, and getting the exceptions to assign correctly based on security. I'm not sure if that means security to the actual pages where the where you resolve the issue or within the tool itself?
Rob, if you want to send us some specific, I know I didn't share my personal details over here, but Randy, you have Randy's data from the PowerPoint. If you want to send a more specific, more details, we can definitely try to help. Of course, there is the Oracle team also over here. I see Richa is also responding to messages. So there will definitely, we can look into it into more detail and respond to it.
Yeah, groups, roles.
I try not to solve the problem on the fly, Rob, just to be honest. I mean, if there's a simple answer, I try to give it. But anything once it starts going into security and assignment and roles, I try to be careful, look at the problem in more detail before answering it. But we have some very strong people from Oracle also on the call in case if you're understanding the question and want to solve it now, it's up to you. But I think as a practice, we all don't do that.
Now, what's ironic is Sanjay and I are very different. I do try to solve things on the fly, and it is a character flaw. It's a known issue. I've been working on it since I was 20. So Sanjay, glad that we have our system of checks and balances.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob, if we can get more details, give us some specifics on the security issues. Happy to work with you offline. We'll pull Oracle together, and I think we can. If we get the details, I think we can get you an answer better than we don't know. I'm not seeing new questions trickle in.
So if there is nothing new, we'll give people back 8 minutes.
Yeah, Pauline, I think with that, our questions are no longer trickling in. We may be able to end early today.
Alrighty, good deal, guys. Well, thank you to Sanjay and Randy for the presentation today. You guys have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great conference, everyone.